Hey, good people, how are you? This is the Market Sniper coming back at you. Cheeky little cheese and wine in the airport. We're going to Cape Town, and we'll see you down there. So, what am I talking about? Well, what we've always been talking about when it comes to the Market Sniper channel, and that is it. This dollar strength will reassert. Keep the faith. Don't buy the Bidenomics that is here to engineer a peak inflation just prior to midterm elections. So you got really low numbers on inflation. Oh, shock and horror, it's peak inflation, everybody's dying. We've won the battle on inflation. No. Biden released most of the decrease in inflation in the recent stats that saw the sell-offs in the dollar were aviation fuel, petrol. Now, the Rockefeller tax is a massive part of your inflation, good people, the Rockefeller tax. So if you take a strategic reserve that you have that's there for wars, supply chain problems, and you diminish it immensely and you dump that oil into the market and you're a not-for-profit seller, what have you actually done? What you've actually done is you've created a temporary sell-off in the Western Texas Intermediate contract, in the Brent oil contract, and in a number of others. In actual fact, rents, housing costs, most other things have continued at the same rate, have continued up at the same rate. So actually your inflation numbers is something that was pushed down and something else that's continuing at the same rate, cancelling each other out, giving you a zero on the previous month. So if you're doing a 0% on the previous month, that means you're flattened at an already high level and you've not gone too much higher. So I want to warn against people getting overly optimistic. There was that Squid Game old guy who was behind it all, sitting cowering in the corner, inflation 8.5%, and then like 6 months later, inflation only 8.5%, diving and dancing. No, inflation at 8.5% is a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. You're behind the curve and you do not kill this monster just with a once-off event of creating a semi-localized glut that leads to oil prices selling off. Oh, by the way, OPEC said they will adjust their level of supply to maintain pricing. So you get a little bit of a dip in the oil price. Guess what those guys do? They start buffering and they start reducing supply because they want top dollar in an inflationary environment, especially when that dollar is a diminished dollar. And what do you end up getting is they match the future. So if Biden tries to play that card again, they'll be waiting for him. And you'll just get OPEC cuts. If you thought that was a warm and fuzzy MBS Biden meeting, you should see how the head of the CCP was met way back then. Anyway, that's politics. This is a chart, and that's what we do. We are the Market Sniper, the creators and originators of the Hunt Volatility Funnel method, and we are creating a recording here in the airport. Maybe a bit of background noise, forgive me that, because we're trying to get something out in between an amazing travel and summer spell. So what's going to go down? Well, here's what I said to the community this morning. This pullback, and this was what we call a breakout of a rising wedge that exhausted. Usually, in normal circumstances, you get a blow off out the top here, and then you get some very hardcore negative selling, and that's often a localized high. What we got here that was different, that said it's not full exhaustion mode, it's not a localized high, is we actually got a channel. We've had this channel on our chart for a while. Yeah, we had this channel for our chart for a while. Since, there you go, nice little rising wedge there that was. You can see that squeezy, Japanesey, and then in you got the inflation numbers. So the USD Hong Kong peg was possibly going to fail if those inflation numbers had come in hot. They came in unders, it's pulled back. Lots of things got a final dollar sell. Guess what? It didn't even make the lower end of the channel range. And in 1, 2, 3 days, today you are at 106. Previous day was 105.764, and at one point you were in the 104s. This is a breakout of a channel. When you get a continuation-based channel instead of an absolute capitulation all the way down, it's likely that when you break that capping, descending grind line that has occurred there, that you're going to actually see that your bottom's in on the Dixie. Where did most of the gains come? Remember, the dollar index is against the euro, the yen, the pound, and the Swiss franc, and a couple of others, mostly westernized. Well, you can see the euro was at 103 a while ago. And what did we tell you? After the parity run, you will get a rally period, as you got with the euro Swiss franc. Go and look at that euro Swiss franc. Down at 96.17. New lows. Our euro Swiss franc is coughing up cash. It's coughing up cash. Euro USD was 103s, deep in the 103s, now 101s. So you've given up most of that ground on the euro. If you have a look at the USD JPY, it's pretty moderate. It hasn't started making major gains yet against the Asians. So actually, the new boy for the kicking is again the euro. So we'll pivot over to the euro and point out that that has been the main driver. But bear in mind, when that continues to assert, you will start to have the likes of the Asians brought back into the frame, and they can play catch up too. That could see your USD Korean won, your obviously the USD JPY. Look at this. That's either a flag or a squeezy Japanesey that's been breaking. We were talking about the rising wedges on crypto. We said to everyone in crypto, there's rising wedge season. Fellas, inside our community, we traded this inverted HVF. It gave us a target of parity. Excuse the noise, we've got some drinks being made here. I'll take a noise break. Have a sip of that mighty fine wine, South Africa's finest, and point out that we were saying that you were going to have a fallout of wedges on risk on. What came out? Terrible Chinese news on Monday. These guys are wrecked. This is the driver behind the USD Hong Kong dollar, and this is why those that hadn't got in could have utilized that dip sell-off and got in really strong. So, having run the parity, let's put the lights of all the annotations that we always tend to have on here. In fact, it would have been the one above. There's that target run, rally, pop to the top, rising wedge, spiller, thriller, wicks, sell-off as you're approaching the funnel, wicks, sell-off as you're approaching the funnel, all at our first interim level, rolling over to the bottom end, basing, ascending, grind line of the lower wedge, broken to the downside. What did the Swiss franc do in the same situation? Oh, by the way, look at that spiller, it's so gorgeous. I love a nice stretchy red candle when you short on the Swiss franc. Oh yes sirree. So she goes. Trade the macro, guys. Be on the big time frames. Don't buy the hopium. This euro is in huge trouble. If you had any idea of what's coming for eurozone in this winter, it's a winter of discontent. It's on our reset sniper charts, and you'll see it. Parity run euro Swiss franc, channel for a while, double top there, you did a double bottom there, you did a triple top. That's this larger top area with this top area. You came back to the neckline, you had a wee bounce, and then you spilled back to the base. You got a bit of defense on your basing ascending grind line of that flag, spill, and now look at your new lows after the parity run. Who's talking about the euro Swiss parity run anymore? Nobody, because you first get a rally to get everyone's tension off it, and then you smash it back lower. That is what's coming for the euro USD, my friends. This pair, we've continued to assert, will go down. We expect on the euro Swiss franc the 0.71 to be run. You could end up with a 6 on that number, and on the euro USD we expect the 0.85s to be run. So you're at 101, you could be shorting still north of parity. This is ugly, it's plain ugly, and this is your main driver for your Dixie, because if we look at the yen, the Asians haven't started their move yet. Nice little hammer, 2 hammers in a row actually. You got a bit of a buying wick here, by the way. This was strongly rejected after a nasty spill. This was all a nasty spill. Look at that rising wedge. What did we say? It's a type 1 rising wedge. You're going to have a nasty spill. You got your nasty spill, but now you're bouncing. Now in these lower time frames, you're getting a hammer here, you're getting fight back there, and you got a tiny hammer for today. But it's still not the driver, but it could come into the game, give you an RH2, squeezy that Japanesey, and then next thing you know, your Japanesey is going to be throwing money at you once your euro takes a rest after spilling its guts. So being on the right side of the dollar is the game. If you understand the direction of the dollar, and this is something Brent Johnson agrees with me and many others, understanding macros, understanding the dollar. Let's go have a see. How did Bitcoin do as a risk-on asset during this period? Now, this isn't a crypto channel. I'm not going to take it wide, but you ran the 25K, shooting stars. Ran the 25, shooting star, 3 shooting stars in a row with sinking bodies. And what did we say on crypto? Go check our crypto channel if you're not subscribed. Bitcoin is a sell. It's going to get a sell-off, my friends. You're going to start to get a cold breeze down your back. I don't know whether it's China, I don't know whether it's Eurozone, but this is a sell. Technical run of the 25K. At the same time, Ethereum, technical run of the 2K. Isn't it magical? These key levels of round numbers. Simultaneously, Ethereum tops out and taps out at 2K, Bitcoin at 25, and now you're looking on both of them for a fall. This is your God market on crypto. Got to watch it, got to watch it, got to watch it. It is the rising wedge season. And have you had your spill yet? Not yet. It's still setting. Look at that exhaustion. First shooting star, a little bit of an attempt higher. 3 in a row, getting bigger. The volatility is expanding and the actual bodies are sinking. That is not healthy. This is a sell into the zone. This is what we've been covering. Go to the marketsniper.com. Get all of this information and insight early. How about that? For a good idea. You think it can make you some money? More than you expend? I think it will. But that's up to me. Of course I would say that. TheMarketSniper.com. Click, book a call, costs you nothing, friendly folk. Community members are all ex-clients and still clients and members of our community, many for 5-6 years. We haven't gone away. We're always here because we do what we say we're going to do on the tin. If you're unhappy, you have a 14-day return. We don't leave people, if they make a mistake, out to dry. Walk, it's okay. Come and have a test of us on the trading days. See what we're all about. It's assessing markets using technical analysis, built and set up for reset times. These are reset times. Get the macro right, guys, on reset times, and it feels so much easier. You get luckier. Look at that Euro Swiss franc, down at 96. Down at 96, and when did we first give that one to you? Ages ago. It must have been 108s. We gave you Euro USD short at 118s. You've already run parity. This is just macro. This is macro. There's no big borrowing differences between Euro Swiss franc and Euro USD. It's not like the Turkish lira where you have to pay $500 a day for a single contract because the interest rate differential is unbelievable and you can't get a spread and you can't get a broker. These are major FXs that are moving. Wow. Man, people have got to understand this is reset times, and this is the game, and this is what's happening. And I mean, if you think it looks better for Elrond, I maybe shouldn't have sat next to the bar. That wasn't the smartest idea, was it? Sorry for the slurping and machining. Rising wedge, he said. I'm not going to turn this into a crypto video, but it goes all the same for all of them. Tezos, same thing. These are squeezing. You can see the tops along this baby. Splitter. Put him on the splitter. So that's what's an example. A high beta version of risk on is crypto. It's easy for me to do. What did Ethereum do today? And remember, they've got the best news. They are just pumping the PR at the moment. They are the high flyer of the world, and I actually think they will be highly utilized by the control structure. That is a squeezing up rising wedge. And there's your 2K run about there. Classic. Okay, we've given other scenarios that go with that, by the way, in our premium area. So let's go back. What did the stinky stoink market make out of it all? Well, let's go and have a look. How are stocks doing? So we'll have a look at, I haven't updated on gold in a while. I don't want to turn this into a gold video, but this was rounding out. This was again showing that paper price. I'm happy to own it. I don't expect the paper price to do particularly well out of this. I expect this to come off again, and it's going to be the same for silver, almost certainly. Actually, it's better for silver, but it's still at a bad day today. And it could still lead to some form of rising wedge, even if it rallies. This was the good move that you want to be in. This is the concern. This is the grind. So watch out. And you're on the low side here. So yeah, gold and silver ratio, just by the way, while we're at it, we'll give you a small update on that one. Actually looks encouraging. I think this is going to slip a little bit. So you could have gold go down and silver actually in percentage terms hold up a bit better. Some of those shortages might start to play. Could still see that without the two of them be very strong. Normally you need gold to go up, for silver to go up super much. So let's get on with it. This is, by the way, this is the dollar going up. This is with WTI under 90 and UK oil at 95. This again, guys, Channel down. It's a channel down. This is not a shock. Absolute puke. You could say, well, that was quite strong. Well, it got work back. That was quite strong. Well, it got work back. This was quite strong. Well, it got work back. This is a modulated staircasing down inside of a channel. This was cranky as all hell, guys. I never liked this for an upside. I was shocked when this actually got as high as it did up top here. Squeezed into a rising wedge. What happens on rising wedges? Type 1, down, 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 and you run those lows. Okay, but this is a channel now. It's not a spiller. It's not a thriller. It's not from Manila. It's a local one. It's from the cafe down the road. There, the guy who sells you a dodgy chicken and gives you heartburn. That's where it's come from. It's just, and natural gas. Man, natural gas. But God bless the Europeans. Guys, if you leave Europe. Leave Europe. Do not be in Europe this winter. Just leave them. They're telling you. It's not even a prediction. They are telling you. What are you going to do there? Come to Cape Town. I'm on my way. Nice little 3 days there. What the hell? I think better than a bit of Camps Bay as the sun is starting to come through. So let's see how it goes. This is a steep grind line. You could have a little bit of release, but at the moment, this is super buoyant. And by the way, in terms of what the Europeans are paying on their futures, ow, 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 stinky, stinky. It's going to hurt. Okay, so this is a quick update. We'll take a look at how the Dow did today. Slightly up. The Dow's charging. Dow's the big majors. It's on a charge. You've got to say it. And this Bitcoin can't move on the moment that these Dow regulars, that's a type 3. Boom, up she goes. That was always pointing to some continuation. You could see support. There's been a lot of short covering. There's been a record level of short covering. Too many people got too short too soon. They're being murdered by the rally. They're now buyers. There's a bit of a blow off on short covering at the moment. If you were following the market here and some other sources that I follow. SPY also up today on a strong dollar. Interesting. VIX. Nah. Let's clean the face. Been drifting down, down, down. Everybody's so relaxed. Hey man, all is groovy. Well, they're not looking at the bond market's sense of nerves, and there's been a major departure between what the bond market is thinking and what the equities are thinking. And we've been here once before. Debt don't rule the world no more. NASDAQ up. So you're getting equities risk on up, and you've got Bitcoin looking precarious. This is terrible for Bitcoin. This is terrible for Bitcoin. I'm sorry. BTC, if I divide him by IXIC. Let's go there. NASDAQ comp. Wow, this is going to smash through a flag. A horrible flag. And it's hanging heavy. So the relative performance of crypto in this environment is absolutely dire. I may have to pivot this to being a crypto sniper video because I'm talking so much about crypto, because the equities have held up well. Okay, so there you go. I mean, that's garbage. It's in the lower half. It's absolute garbage. Okay, what else can we tell you about before we sign off? Excuse me. So watch out for dollar strength to continue, mainly at the moment on Eurozone. That winter coming, it's going to weigh so heavy on so many things. Yep, I think that's it. I'm not going to make it too lengthy. There's a bit of background noise that's going to start picking up. I'm going to sign off. Great to check in with you guys. It's going to be, the dollar is on reassertment, and the crypto market is in trouble. That I can tell you. Of the risk on environments, crypto is looking precarious for downside. So you may get crypto-related news that is bearish. China-related news is hard. I didn't check the Hong Kong dollar. I promised to do a check-in on you for that because we were pointing it out that the inflation data was going to be either a knockback and it was a knockback in the end, or a breakout. And you're going to get 2 or 3 other opportunities like that. And you take limited losses, and then you get your winner. If we turn out accurate. Let's have a look. So I expect that to be a low, and I think the Asians will start weakening too. That's my guesstimation. That doesn't mean you break when you next get back up here though. They're going to keep defending. But one of these days, they're not going to get the relief of that inflation number. If you don't like that, take the short on the Hong Kong dollar. There he stands. There's your alternative. Trade to 16.5. Okay, guys, I'm going to check out. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you later. Bye-bye.